A Vedute room is basically a space created by 18th century aristocrats to relive their wonderful visit to Venice. They would commission paintings by Canaletto and Guardi and decorate a room with just those kind of pictures. The Wallace Collection has one of the greatest collections of Vedute paintings, all assembled here. The only thing is that they've never really been studied and they're in urgent need of conservation. The canvases are covered with yellowed varnish, and with time it means that you can't really see through that yellow varnish. So what we're hoping to do is remove that in order to reveal what is beneath and bring them back to their former glory. We're going to focus, first of all, on the two really great Canalettos that we have here of the Bacino. And the remarkable things about those two pictures is that when you stand right in the middle and look from one side to the other, it's as if you were on a gondola visiting Venice. These were acquired very likely by the first Marquis of Hertford, possibly in Venice, maybe directly from the painter himself. And these are kind of questions we're going to be asking and hopefully answering by the end of the project. In the next few days, these pictures are going to be taken off the walls and we're going to be sending them to the Hamilton Kerr Institute, which belongs to the University of Cambridge. And there they will be conserved and analysed technically. We've been really fortunate that the Bank of America Merrill Lynch has sponsored this project in order to get these works restored. It's very costly and you need expert restorers to do it.
So we're pretty well at the end of the cleaning now, Lucy.
They look wonderful and so fresh, just extraordinary.
It's amazing, yeah. Emma's just got a tiny bit of varnish to take off now.
It's interesting how the varnish looks even more yellow actually here
Absolutely,
in natural light than it did in the gallery.
Yeah, I mean it's 1940s varnish, but it is discoloured and it was suppressing a lot of information actually. You didn't realise, but the subtle blues in the sky, all the gradations, and then in the water as well. You just didn't notice all of that. The reflections have really come out beautifully, yeah. I mean, this one's in amazingly good condition. There's barely a crack to be seen in it. It's uncanny in a way for a painting of this date. Another thing that varnish removal has revealed is the incisions which he uses to define architecture. So we've got some X-rays, I think, that we took earlier, and that shows so clearly these very fine little lines, really incredibly narrow. And then when you look at the surface, you can actually see that they were done into the wet paint. And in some areas, like over here, on the church, you can see he's been using a compass, and you've got little compass points and these minute fine lines that define the architecture and also act as a sort of highlight. You can see it actually in this X-ray rather well. You know, you've got, it's really clear where he's cut through the wet paint, so it's gone right through to the ground, and hence it appears dark on the X-ray. And there's another one there, and you can see the compass point, and then all these horizontals, which he's inscribed, and then comes back when the paint's dry and puts those little dark lines on. And the thing about those is they are so crisp and fine, and you wonder, how do you do that?
The control required.
Well, they seem to be ruled, but can you do that freehand or with a brush? I mean, or do you use a sort of pen? I mean, they're so fine, some of those things. And then the rigging, of course, which is freehand because it's not straight, but again, it's amazing control of paint. And then the other thing, which I think is rather nice, is texture comes out when you've got rid of that glossy varnish. So you've got things like the way the impasto works on areas around here, especially on the faces. The faces are so simple. I mean, they're just little ciphers in a way, but they work. You've got three little blobs
most minimal
of highlight, two blobs eyes, and you've got a face.
Amazing, and I love the contrast between this area, as you say, loosely painted, and then this incredible meticulousness and accuracy in the rendering of the buildings. And the way that Canaletto controls the composition is just extraordinary when you're thinking as well that he often takes liberties with views, so you can take in more of the wonderful monuments of Venice than you could actually see from many of the viewpoints.
Yes, I mean, it looks so simple, it looks photographic, you think, oh yeah, just a view of Venice, but there's much more to it than that. And then if we look at this one, Jay's got further. She's taken all the varnish off, and we're now on to removing the repaint from the very old tear, which must have been very early for that to have occurred. It couldn't have been. It must have been after the lining. And then we've also got these sort of odd little damages. This one is not as in good condition, funnily enough. There's a little bit more wear to the paint, and there's these strange damages all along the bottom edge, which I don't fully understand what caused those. So for some reason, this one hasn't been treated quite the same. And the other thing is it doesn't have the incisions.
So the technique,
just
quite
subtly different.
here.
I just
Yes,
wonder whether
subtly
there's a little bit of a gap, even though they look like a perfect pair, whether they were separated a little bit in time, or one was painted to match the other one or something like that.
Well, it's wonderful, isn't it, how this conservation project has revealed so much more about the two paintings and their relationship with each other. And yes, I can't wait to see them restored to their original splendour back at the Wallace Collection.
Our two great Canalettos have been away for 8 months, and they've just been hung literally yesterday in this great gallery. This is where Richard Wallace loved to show some of his very best paintings, and he would entertain here. And I really felt it would be important to welcome these pictures back with this wonderful space that was only recently redone in 2014. So the lighting is perfect, the red wall colours are perfect for the blues to stand out. So this is just the beginning of the conservation project that we've initiated here at the Wallace. We have many more Canalettos and followers of Canalettos that need to be restored. And the ultimate aim is to have them all cleaned and ready to be shown in a newly refurbished room. And seeing them on this red, I'm wondering whether that is the right colour we should use when we create what will be, I'm pretty sure, one of the greatest Vedute rooms in Great Britain, a perfect place to escape a rainy London.